Hey friends, welcome to today's video. Today we are getting ready. This is the finished look. I'm using all products from Sephora. I did team up with Sephora and I picked up some products, you guys, that you have been asking me to pick up and try, such as, where did you go, my friend? The Hourglass Hydrating Skin Tint. We're using this today, so you'll see my first impressions and thoughts as we get into the video. The first time I used it was in this video today, so you will see kind of my first true, like, real thoughts on this product. We are also playing with the Patrick Ta blush, She's That Girl. I picked this up. I didn't own any Patrick Ta blushes before this one, and I'm excited to kind of share my thoughts on this. Spoiler alert, I really love this. And then I also picked up and I'm trying a new concealer, the Makeup Forever HD Skin Undetectable Smoothing and Blurring Concealer. Hello, that sounds fabulous for underneath the eyes. It's also hydrating. So we are testing this out. I also tested this on camera today for the first time, so you'll see kind of my real, like, first impression thoughts on this as we get into it, and then just playing with some of my favorites. So I'm gonna stop rambling. Let's go ahead and get started, and let's do it. Let's go ahead and get started. I wanted to start first off with the Hydrating Skin Tint from Hourglass, and I picked up the shade 7, and a few things about this product. So it comes in, I believe, 18 shades. It has very light coverage, is how it's described. I have yet to use it, so we will see. It has a radiant finish, and it's supposed to be very long wearing. So in my head, I'm thinking this could be great for the days that, I almost want to see if I can apply it with my fingers. Let's see. In my head, I'm thinking that this will be great on the days where I just don't really want a lot of coverage, or, you know, don't want to have the look or feel of makeup, but I want some coverage. I'm gonna use a brush. But I'm also thinking, I wonder if I could pair this underneath the foundation if I want like a little more coverage, but I don't want to wear a lot of a full coverage foundation, you know? So this looks like a perfect shade for me, and I think I already mentioned it, but I'm the shade 7, by the way. It's described as giving a sheer veil of coverage. You know what, I'm thinking actually I'm gonna enjoy applying this with my fingers even better, because it feels like a skincare product. I'm just gonna kind of spread this onto the skin with my fingers. I like this color, this is a good shade. Okay, yeah, so this has the feel very much of like a tinted moisturizer. It is giving some coverage. When I first applied it with the brush, I felt like it wasn't giving much, but now that I'm using my fingers, I'm actually getting a little more coverage. Okay, this color is perfect. It blends into my skin perfectly. Yeah, I like applying it with my fingers, I think, over a brush. I feel like this is a better way to apply it because it is like a skincare product. You can, of course, always like spread it with your fingers, and then if you want to go back with a brush, you can go back with a brush. I don't really feel like this is a product that you're gonna like build coverage from. I think that you're gonna get some light natural coverage, and then that's kind of it. So there's not really much to work with or build. Pretty, it's very nice. It gives the skin a very radiant glow. It looks very healthy. I feel like it evened my skin tone out quite a bit, but the coverage is very sheer. I can still see through and see my skin, which is nice. Okay, so let's recap real quickly on that. So it definitely is a sheer coverage, but it's not completely transparent. I am getting a little bit of coverage. Now that it's set, I am getting a little bit of coverage, but it's very, very minimal. I wouldn't really classify this personally like as a foundation. I really would compare this to the look and feel and coverage of maybe a tinted moisturizer that offered a bit more coverage than your typical tinted moisturizers. But I do want to go in and add a little more coverage in areas. First, let's go in with concealer before I go in and add any foundation. Super excited to try this. I'm a big fan of Makeup Forever products. I do think this is going to be a little too light, though. I'm already looking at it and it looks a little too light. Okay, so we're just going to start by applying a little bit in the inner corner. I'm gonna apply a little bit out here, kind of to lift the eye. This has been my new favorite way to apply concealer. And before I go and apply the other eye, I'm gonna just blend this out because I don't know if this concealer sets quickly, how much time I have to blend it. So this is supposed to be a medium coverage, but when we're talking about concealers, you can pretty much expect most concealers to be medium to full coverage. It has a natural finish. It is supposed to be buildable. It has hyaluronic acid in it, so it's supposed to help attract moisture and hydration to the skin. Ooh, that's pretty. Okay, it's blending out really easily. Okay, yeah, definitely not one of my most full coverage concealers. I would say this is more of a natural or medium coverage for a concealer product. Let's go ahead and do the other eye. I'm gonna see if I can build it and add a little more coverage over here, but I wanna give it some time to set. The consistency is really nice. It doesn't feel thick at all. It feels very hydrating, but it doesn't feel creamy, you know what I mean? Which is nice because under the eyes, sometimes when you're working with really creamy or emollient concealers, they can tend to migrate or move or settle in fine lines a bit more than other formulas. This is nice and lightweight, but it also feels very hydrating. And actually, I think this color is perfect. I spoke too soon. I thought it was gonna be too light, but it actually has just the right amount of peach in there, so it neutralizes darkness under the eyes, and it works. Okay, so that's one light layer. It brightened, it concealed, but I do think I want a little bit more coverage. So I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna build and add a little bit more. I like the wand on this. It's very soft and flexible. Okay, perfect. That's all we're gonna do there. We're gonna blend that out just for a little more coverage. This color is actually perfect. Okay, it does build nicely and get more coverage. If you're trying to get full coverage from this, my recommendation would be to start with a little layer of it like I did first, let it set for a second and then come back to add more, rather than starting with a lot all at once. Give each layer time to set. We're gonna stop there and I'm gonna take a larger concealer brush and just kind of press it just to absorb any excess that I might have had. Perfect. Okay, there we go. Now I've got some really great coverage. Okay, I like this concealer. Let me give you my thoughts. It says it has a natural finish. I feel like the finish is a bit more radiant, and I don't think it's the skin tint, because that was kind of a thought that ran through my head. Well, maybe it's a skin tint because I didn't put skin tint under my eyes, but under my eyes look very radiant, and like the light is just reflecting. It looks very bright. It almost looks like an illuminating concealer, but it's not. Okay, so let's talk about the smoothing and blurring effect. I notice a subtle difference. My under eyes do look slightly smoother, and for me particularly, it's these little tiny bumps that I have under my eye. I can still see them, but they definitely look a little softer. All right, let's go ahead and set the center of the face. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna add a little more coverage, and I'm gonna use a foundation that's going to mattify just a tiny bit. I'm gonna go in with the Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin. This is a very unique product. It has an ingredient in it called Upsolite, which helps control oil throughout the day. And it's just really nice, beautiful, and matte. And I'm just gonna use a little bit of this, and I'm really just gonna kind of focus this in the center of the face. And if you notice, I'm kind of taking my brush and stroking down, which you usually don't see me do. Usually you see me kind of pressing in the center of the face, but I wanna apply this product in a very light and sheer manner. It's almost like I'm using this to set that skin tint. Look at the forehead. Do you see that shine on the forehead? When I take this product, it just eliminates that shine. This product is really great for anyone with oily skin or just anyone that loves a nice matte look. Okay, so I really just apply that in a very light, sheer manner. Okay, next I'm gonna set the center of the face. I'm gonna use Huda Beauty Banana Bread Easy Bake Loose Powder, and I'm gonna keep this very light. I'm not gonna powder all over. I'm using a small powder brush and loading it up, but then I am gonna tap off the excess, and I don't wanna get on my white shirt. Tap off the excess right there, and we're just gonna kind of set the center of the face a bit and underneath the eyes. Perfect. To warm up my skin, I'm using NARS Laguna Matte Bronzer, and I'm going to just kind of keep the bronzer a little light today. Ooh, never mind. We had different plans for today. I'm gonna start by prepping my eyes with this eye prep palette from Makeup by Mario. It comes with 2 shades to prep the eyelid and then a little powder to set the eyelid. And I'm gonna use the darker of the 2 in my finger to apply this. This is a great product to just cancel out any darkness on the lid and give an even canvas for eyeshadow. It's also going to kind of grip eyeshadow so that the shadow colors are more rich, more intense, and it's going to keep your shadow on all day. I find for this product, my fingers are the best tool. You can really get in there and warm the product up and spread it. You want to keep the product real thin on your eyelid. You just want a nice, even, thin layer. For eyes, we're gonna keep a pretty basic neutral look. I'm gonna be using the Master Mattes palette from Makeup by Mario. I love this palette. It's just such an easy go-to palette. And I'm gonna go in with this shade right here. It's kind of like a ochre shade. And I'm gonna take a fluffy crease brush and we are gonna sweep this shade all over the lid. I really love this palette. It kind of grew on me. Like when this first launched, I didn't necessarily love it, but now it's kind of my most used palette. It's just so easy. And I love the like warmth in the shades in this. And even though they're all neutral and pretty much for the most part, like all versions of brown, there's a lot of versatility in the shades. So I'm just doing kind of like an all over sheer wash with that shade. Okay, I love this shadow. This is a great kind of one and done shadow. I've only used that one eyeshadow and I actually kind of love this for a really basic everyday look. Okay, but we're gonna go in and dress this up because I feel like the last couple looks I've done here on my channel have been like this. So we're gonna mix it up a little bit. I'm gonna go in and we're gonna use this shade right here. It's a kind of a really like saddle rich kind of orangey reddish shade. We're gonna take a smaller crease brush and we're gonna take this shade and we're gonna concentrate this on the outer corner of the eye. Just kind of using our brush and pressing it right there on the outer corner. And then slowly kind of sweeping it inward. Okay, that's really beautiful. Isn't that stunning? I think my favorite combo is this really like warm kind of orangey brown matte look. Okay, I love this. I love this whole situation. This warm matte kind of orangey brown eye. It's just what I feel my best in. I've really been kind of gravitating towards these types of looks. Okay, so I've really kind of packed that deeper shade in the outer corner. It's a little messy. We're gonna go back and blend it. Don't worry. What I'm gonna go and I'm gonna do the other eye. We're gonna go back and blend it though, so it will look more seamless. This color is so beautiful. If you don't have this palette, it's really nice. It is really, really nice, especially if you have colored eyes. If you have blue or green eyes, this palette is just a great neutral palette. It has all the neutrals in it that you would possibly need. Okay, perfect. Okay, next what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take that first crease brush we used and I'm gonna go back and grab that first shadow that we used and we're just gonna kind of sweep it right where those two shades meet. We're gonna use that shade to kind of soften and blend them. Next, we're gonna lift the brow by using a light shade underneath the brow. And I'm gonna mix these two. So I've got this like real kind of like matte white vanilla shade, and then we have this light peach shade. I'm gonna mix the two together. And we're gonna apply that right underneath the brow. That's just gonna kind of give a little bit of lift there and highlight. It's subtle, but it's there. So now that we have eyeshadow on, we're gonna go in and line the eyes, and I'm gonna use this product from Tarte. This is their quick stick. It has eyeliner on one side, and then it has a cream shadow stick on the other. And these are really great. This one is the shade Rose Gold Luster, which is the cream shadow, and then it has brown, which is the liner. And I'm gonna concentrate the liner, since it's really dark, I'm gonna concentrate it right on the like outer half of the eye. I'm gonna try and keep the liner thin. Perfect. Okay, what I am gonna do before this liner has time to set is I'm gonna kind of softly smudge it. I'm gonna take that same Makeup by Mario palette and I'm gonna go in with this really rich brown, the deeper brown here, and we're just gonna kind of softly run it over that eyeliner. Okay, perfect. All right, next we're gonna take this same brush and we're gonna go in with this shade here. We're gonna pop this on our lower lash line. Perfect. Okay, so now we've got this kind of warm, smoky lower lash line going on. I'm gonna take a brush and just kind of sweep and clean up under the eye. I love that. I just love a good matte neutral eye. I think it is so classy. We're gonna go in, apply mascara. I'm gonna go in first with my lash primer. We're gonna be using Grande Lash Mascara. My lashes are starting to grow back in. I went through like a shed cycle recently and I had no lashes, but they are starting to come back in. I've been using my lash serums every night for the last couple weeks. Perfect, okay. This mascara is a very volumizing mascara. It's gonna give some length too, but really what you notice is that volume. I think it's time for me to replace this one. You can kind of start to tell when it's time to replace your mascara because the formula just gets a little thicker. So the Patrick Ta blush that I picked up is the shade She's That Girl, and it comes with a powder blush and also a cream blush. And I do really appreciate this little cover on top of the cream just to kind of keep it clean and a little more separated from the powder product. I am a little nervous. This looks like a pretty bright, punchy shade, but I'm excited because I have heard really great things about these blushes. I'm gonna use the cream. So I'm just gonna press it in there. I'm gonna start off with a little because I don't know how pigmented this is. I don't know how it's gonna go on. So always start with less because it's always easier to go in and build than to try and repair or fix an over application. And I'm gonna just smile, kind of find the apple of my cheek, press it there and kind of pull it back. Ooh, this is nice. Okay, it's not going on as pigmented as I feared it would. I was worried it was gonna be super bright and very pigmented, but it actually is going on kind of perfectly. Ooh, okay, that color is really, really nice. Okay, I'm pleasantly surprised. To be honest, I was a little concerned these were gonna be extremely pigmented and just kind of go on a little heavy. It definitely is more pigmented than other cream blushes. It might just be the shade that I have, but it's blending out really easily. Wow, yeah, that looks really nice. Okay, so a little bit goes a long way here. I wish I could explain to you how like light my pressure was when I dipped my brush in here. It was super, super light. I mean, I barely kind of bounced. There was no like swatching or putting any pressure to pick up more product. And I feel like I got the perfect amount of color payoff. So my thought is if you have a little heavier of a hand, you might over apply this product. But I was going into it with extreme caution because I didn't want to over apply it. And it looks really nice. Okay, I kind of want to put the powder on top just for fun. I kind of have the same thoughts about the powder. I'm a little nervous. I feel like it's going to be really, really bright. Let's try. Okay, small little tap. Okay, yeah, the powder is definitely more pigmented, especially when you layer it on top of the cream. But it works. Yeah, that's a little more blush than I normally like. I probably wouldn't layer this powder on top of the cream next time. I just wanted to try the powder because I wanted to try it. Yeah, I feel like I have a little too much blush on now that I did that. So I'm gonna just take my foundation brush, kind of bounce it around to kind of soften that color. For lips, I'm gonna go in with the NARS Air Matte Lip Color in the shade Dolce Vita. I love this formula. It's a really nice whipped kind of moussey lip cream. It feels like a souffle on the lips. It has a very velvety kind of blurring matte look to the lips. And I love the shade. This is probably one of the most smoothing lip products that I use. It really just diffuses texture on the lips and softens everything. Okay, and I'm just using the applicator as my lip liner. So pretty. I love this color. Okay, so I usually like to just wear these alone. I don't like usually top these with a lip gloss, but I did want to share a lip gloss that I've been loving lately. It's from Pat McGrath. I think that she makes some of the best lip glosses. I just love the formula. I love the scent. It's just the perfect high shine gloss that's not sticky or tacky. It's just a very, like I enjoy putting this product on my lips. This is the shade Peach Perversion, and I have been loving this shade. I got it last week or 2 weeks ago. I love the scent of this. And I'm just gonna layer all over the lips. So it's called Peach Perversion, but it's almost like a very, very pale, it looks more peach in the packaging than it does when you put it on your lips. It almost gives a really like kind of milky opalescent look to the lips with a tinge of peach to it. So, so nice. So this is the finished look. I love the way that it came out. It's just a warm, classic, neutral eye. If you have blue or green eyes and you're not wearing these types of shades, try it and you will not go back, I promise. I love a really, really warm matte eye like this. I feel like it's the most complimentary on me, especially when you pair it with like a light, pale, peachy pink lip and some peachy cheeks. Oh, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll have all the products that I use listed and linked in the description box below, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.